Here's a short horror story for you. The Forgotten Doll. In a small, dilapidated house at the edge of town, there lived an old woman named Mrs. Thompson. She was a recluse, rarely seen outside her home, and the townspeople whispered that she was cursed. But the truth was far more sinister. Mrs. Thompson had a collection of antique dolls, each one more eerie than the last. They lined the shelves of her dimly lit living room, their glass eyes staring blankly into the void. The townspeople avoided her house, fearing the dolls held some dark secret. One stormy night, a young girl named Lily wandered too close to Mrs. Thompson's home. She peered through the window, her curiosity piqued by the doll's lifeless expressions. The rain pounded against the glass, and Lily shivered as she saw one doll in particular, a porcelain beauty with golden curls and a lace-trimmed dress. The doll seemed to move. Lily blinked, convinced it was a trick of the light. But then the doll turned its head, fixing its glass eyes on Lily. A chill ran down her spine, and she stumbled backward, slipping in the mud. Mrs. Thompson opened the door, her wrinkled face twisted into a smile. "Come in, child," she said, her voice like rusted hinges. "You've met my little darlings." Lily hesitated but stepped inside. The air smelled of mothballs and decay. The dolls watched her, their painted lips curved into unsettling smiles. Mrs. Thompson led Lily to the lace-trimmed doll, its eyes following her every move. "This is Emily," Mrs. Thompson said. "She was my daughter." Lily's heart raced. "Your daughter?" "Yes," Mrs. Thompson whispered. "Emily died when she was just 6 years old. A fever took her away. But I couldn't bear to part with her. So, I made a deal." Lily's breath caught. "A deal with whom?" "The old crone who lives in the woods," Mrs. Thompson said. "She promised me that Emily would live forever, in the body of this doll." Lily stared at Emily, her porcelain skin flawless, her eyes unblinking. "But at what cost?" Mrs. Thompson's eyes gleamed. "My soul. And the souls of others. Every year, I must find a replacement, a child to take Emily's place." Lily's horror grew. "And if you don't?" Mrs. Thompson's smile widened. "Then Emily will hunger. She'll drain the life from me until I'm nothing but dust." Lily's mind raced. She had to escape. But the door was locked, and the dolls closed in, their glass eyes glinting with hunger. Mrs. Thompson lunged, her bony fingers gripping Lily's arm. "You'll do nicely," Mrs. Thompson hissed. "Emily needs a new vessel." Lily screamed, but it was too late. The dolls closed in, their porcelain hands reaching for her. And as Mrs. Thompson chanted an ancient incantation, Lily felt her body grow cold, her soul slipping away. Now, if you pass by Mrs. Thompson's house, you'll see a new addition to her collection, the lace-trimmed doll with golden curls. And if you listen closely, you might hear a faint whisper, "Help me." I hope you enjoyed the chilling tale. Smiling Face with Horns Crescent Moon.